I'm Nimisha Waldman. This is Everyday Legends, where I sit down with ordinary people who have lived extraordinary lives. Each episode is a conversation with someone whose story deserves to be told and celebrated and honored. My guest today is a very special man that I really respect and admire. His name is Francisco Díaz. Has logged so many hours in the air, it's almost as if the sky is his second home, and someday maybe his first home. Welcome back to Everyday Legends. This is all about sharing ordinary people with their extraordinary stories. Today's guest has spent his life chasing horizon. A decorated Air Force veteran, he mastered the skies in military aircraft before taking his skills to the mining industry and critical role in aerial firefighting in Chile, flying into some of the most remote, dangerous, and unforgiving terrain on Earth. For 10 years, he has also piloted helicopter for filming the Dakar rally in South America. And I believe it was from 2009 to 2019, and capturing one of the world's most demanding races from above. But it was in the high mountains where snow meets the sky he found his true calling. For more than 20 years, he has been one of the most trusted helicopters pilots in the world for heli-skiing and heli-snowboarding, carrying elite athletes, the first-time dreamers, seasoned adventurers, including me. He has introduced us to untouched, amazing powder in backcountry of Andes. He navigated blizzards, whiteouts, avalanches, and thin mountain air, and he witnessed the moment of pure magic and the kind you only see from the pilot's seat. And his skills haven't been for the sport. Francisco also has piloted in some of the Chile's most dangerous wildfire operation, flying into the smoke, flames, and help protect communities and land. And me being as a Californian, I know what it takes for all these helicopters and pilots and helping us for firefighting. And now I'm very curious to know what is holding future and what his plans for him, what his retirement look like, or is it ever gonna happen? He ever gonna stop or just continue going on? Now, sitting here, we reflect on the courage, the skill, and the heart it takes to live life above the clouds, and the lesson he has learned. I want to learn what he has learned and what everything has taught him. Francisco Díaz, welcome to Everyday Legends.
Thank you, Nimisha. Very nice to be with you here in the postcard.
Thank you. And you and I know from almost now 10 years.
No, 15 years, I believe.
15 years, yeah. And you really inspired me. And the more I hear about you and your stories, you are truly my everyday legend.
Thank you.
So, Francisco, I have a question for you. So, where did your love for flying come from? Was it a dream you had as a kid or something you discovered later in life?
No, I believe it was from my early days. As a kid, I remember my grandmother told me when I was about 4 or 5 years old, I always wanted helicopters, toy helicopters for presents. So I think it was a dream when I was a child. Mm-hmm. And then later on, I decided to join the Air Force and start flying and never stopped.
Wow. Tell me about your time in Air Force and how did the experience shape that pilot you become? Like the training, what is your time in Air Force like?
Well, I spent 10 years in the Air Force. We did 4 years. I did 4 years training as a cadet in the Air Force Academy. Mm-hmm. And then I went to the fighter school and then turned to fly the helicopters. I always wanted to be a helicopter pilot, but in the Air Force, you start as an fixed-wing pilot.
Okay.
Then in year 91, I ended starting to fly helicopters in Brazil with the Brazilian Air Force, and it was an exchange program with the Chilean Air Force. Uh-huh. Then came back to Chile, and then we had the opportunity as a Chilean Air Force to be in the peacekeeping mission once the Desert Storm was ended. So we flew for almost a year with the ONU, the United Nations program, in Kuwait. was a very interesting operation and very tough for us.
So after military flying, you moved into a mining industry, and how it was different from the Air Force.
Well, during my last years in the Air Force, I became an instructor pilot, teaching the new generations, and I start working on my holidays as a part-time pilot with a utility company. So then I got trained and introduced to what the firefighting mission was. I was very delighted about the operation and about the things that we were doing with the helicopters, helping all the nature, about the nature, the fires and the populations in the areas. So that I spent my 2 last years in the Air Force working on my holidays and that kind of operations, utility. And then I decided to step forward and become a utility pilot in the civil world.
Wow. So the firefighting you were doing at the same time as also mining?
Yeah, we did different kind of operations, mainly firefighting during summer. But also I started working in Patagonia with a drilling company.
Okay.
They were doing studies in the mountains, so I was moving drills in the mountains in Patagonia. So I had the opportunity to fly both type of operations.
Wow.
During my holidays. So I decided that the utility working helicopters was my future and that I get a step forward to my new life as a civilian.
Okay, let's talk about heli skiing and heli snowboarding, and that's how you and I met.
Yes.
And so what inspired you to sign up for this kind of mountain adventure?
Well, Chile is a country full of mountains. It's very natural to be flying in the mountainous area. The normal utility operations in helicopters is in the mountain. And we have a big untouched and unexplored terrain for heli skiing. So maybe it was about 1997, 1998 that I did the first operations in the area of Chillán doing heli skiing. And then we moved to the central part of Chile in Santiago. They have a big mountain and I mean, lot to explore.
And what I know and what I heard that for Andes heliboarding, you were the first pilot
Yes.
when the company started. And now, how many years? 20 years now?
Yeah, almost 20 years flying with Andes heliboarding.
And you were the first pilot with one helicopter.
We started with one helicopter in the beginnings with 2 groups, even with the same helicopter. And now we have evolved, and it's a big operation with 6, even 7 helicopters flying every winter.
This is amazing. And so tell me just that when you went first time helicopter skiing, snowboarding, taking clients up, what was your instinct landing on those, on top of the Andes? And I know sometimes our landings are not, it's sometimes we land on the coulars and stuff. Like, what was your first instinct at that moment when you land first time on the mountains?
Well, I mean, I've been flying in the mountains since almost all my career. And also I've been a skier since very young. So to conjugate both activities, flying and seeing friends or clients skiing, I mean, you can imagine what the line they're going to do, and we can work together with a ski guide or heli ski guide, so they can plan a perfect spot to land and then pick up the group. That was, I mean, the first operation I did as a professional operation of heli skiing was more or less 2000. We spent 2 weeks with 2 groups flying in the mountains and discovering all the terrain, and it was fun. I mean, it's my best job, I think.
Yes, I can tell.
Yeah.
So at that point, did you ever imagine it would become your life for next 2 decades? That you would work for a helicopter snowboarding company or going on the mountains for 20 years?
I always wanted to maintain my life as a helicopter pilot, and I had the opportunity to work in a very professional company with a great boss, and we developed the company in order to grow with our operations, especially in winter during winters for heli skiing. But we did different kind of jobs, that, I mean, I was happy. I never regret being a helicopter pilot.
Amazing. And so the people who are listening and who might not realize what makes flying in Andes so challenging compared to other places.
Well, the Andes mountain is a very long and big range of mountains, very high. It's not very explored. It's, I mean, it's explored, but it's not very populated. So you're always seeing different places, different mountains, different angles, and it's very, very beautiful to fly. And especially in Chile, in the southern part, Patagonia is very almost virgin, still virgin areas.
Wow.
That being able to fly a helicopter and knowing the area in 3 dimensions is spectacular.
Amazing. So there is any moment during your career with flying with skiing and helicopter skiing and snowboarding, there is a moment that something taught you that like, wow, this was a scary moment, this was a happy moment where you like were humbled or learned something?
No, it's in every flight you always learn something.
Yes, true.
Yeah, but normally, I mean, we realize in the last 10 years perhaps that the avalanche is starting to be a big issue in the mountains, here, especially in the Chilean range. Because I think it's the temperature. The temperature is changing. We have big storms coming in, but then the next day we have very high temperatures in the mountain that was not normal 20, 25 years ago. So now I realize that you have to be careful with the avalanche for the helicopter and for the clients that are skiing there. So we have to be very aware with the heli-ski guide in order to avoid that kind of issues.
And you guys been very successful doing that.
Yeah, so far we have done okay. We have seen avalanche, we have been in avalanche, but we have nothing to regret.
Because you guys are the best pilots, top notch.
No, pilots and
the guides.
The guides.
Yeah,
it's a teamwork.
It's definitely a teamwork. So your flying career was not just about the snow and the mountains. It's also flown during some of the Chile's most dangerous wildfires. So when was the first time you involved in wildfire operation? When was that?
1994 was my first firefighting operation. I did a season campaign, about 100 days flying. Sorry, it was 30 days flying, and I did about 100 hours. And it was a very tough season, and that time was when I learned, and I also enjoyed the firefighting operations. I mean, it's a very unique operation that you work in conjunction with the guys in the ground, with the firefighters, and I mean, it's very.
But how does it compare to mountain flying? Like
No, it's a different type of operation. But what I enjoy most about my job is that you are doing different things in different seasons of the years. I'm not all the year doing firefighting, not all the year doing heli skiing. It's a sort of utility work. So I work with the mining, I work filming, I work heli skiing, I work with tourists, I work with construction. So, I mean, that's the best part of the job.
But how do you like mentally prepare yourself? Like, okay, taking a responsibility with whether it is a fire, communities, you saving lands, people, and the same like when you taking people on a helicopter. And how do you mentally prepare yourself that, okay, I'm doing this? What is that you have that, how do you prepare yourself?
Also, you always have to be very professional. I'm quite old already, so I don't take risks, more risk than that you have to do it. And fly professional. That's the real thing. You have to be. There's a small line between what you can do and what you want to do. You always want to save everybody, especially in the fires, on the rescues. But you have to put a limit and say, okay, that's it. I'm not going to throw more water or go more higher or take more weight than I am allowed to do it with the helicopter. So we have to be very mature in order to develop.
So you bring your pilot skills.
Yeah, that's pilot skills and experience.
Experiences. Yeah. Cool. And so now the most exciting I want to talk about is the Dakar Rally.
Wow. What an experience.
I can't wait to hear about it. Please tell me about it. When was
on year 2008, the Dakar Rally is a very long existing race, always held in Africa. And during 2008, they had some security problems in Africa continent, so they decided to move the rally to South America. During 2008, they contact different countries and companies in South America, and we had the luck that our company, Ecocopter, had the amount of helicopters they needed to cover all the logistic in the rally. So they hired 8 helicopters.
Wow.
8 helicopters. I was as a chief pilot of the operation also, so we have to prepare the operation with 4 filming helicopters, 3 medical helicopters, and 2 logistic helicopters.
Wow.
In order to support the rally. Remember the first edition was almost 9,000 kilometers.
Wow.
Flying from Buenos Aires all the way to Santiago and all the way back to Buenos Aires.
And how long is each rally?
The rally takes about 2 weeks, normally 2 weeks. For us, it's about 3 weeks between the ferry of the helicopters to the different areas. And was a very tough operation because, you always see the rally with the bikes, with the cars, with the trucks. But for the helicopters, is also a rally. Flying 7 to 8 hours daily, moving 500, 600 kilometers or miles in a day, and always moving camp after camp after camp, and it's a tough operation for the helicopters.
And what is the biggest challenge for chasing and filming at high speed like that?
The biggest challenge, especially during South America, that wasn't. We didn't realize that until we start the rally, is that normally in Africa they used to do it during winter, so they had short days, so the flying time wasn't too high. But in South America was during summer, so we have very long days from 6 o'clock in the morning up to 9 o'clock in the night. So we have very long days. We have very hot environments and very high environments also. So the helicopter were actually flying always at the limits. And if of course the rally was desert. Always desert areas. So the dust, low visibility, the hot and you were tired. We were moving with the race, sleeping in tents, the floor, and it was amazing.
What an experience!
Yeah, I had the opportunity to do it 10 times, up to from 2009 to 2019. We visit. The rally was held in Peru, in Bolivia, in Chile, Argentina, Paraguay. So it was a very good experience.
And if you have to look back. And you did that winter.
During summer.
I heard that winter time you were doing helicopter snowboarding pilot.
Yeah.
And then the same year for 10 years.
Yeah.
10 years with Andy's helicoptering.
During summer we did. During January the rally. We started. Middle of December up to the end of January. Then February firefighting, March firefighting, and then we wait until July to start heli skiing up to September, and then we start frost control, and then firefighting again or rally in Dakar.
And that 10 years of moment, you have one memorable moment for Dakar rally?
Actually, I did have a very funny experience. I met a Russian guy during heli ski season, and then I met him. He was racing a boogie in the rally.
No way!
Yeah,
and
so
what was he driving?
I was a boogie for the rally. But
oh wow!
I don't remember his name, but it was very funny. That we were together flying during the winter, and then we met in the rally. He was racing.
What a small world!
Yeah.
So all your experiences and everything you have done, you have carried athletes, movie stars, you have done everything, you came across everyone. There is one person that stuck with you, that inspired you through the clients or you met, with all your experiences. There is one person that stuck to you and you say, wow, he is my legend.
Yeah, I had the opportunity to fly twice with Fred North. He's a film pilot from California. He do movies in Hollywood. I had the opportunity to fly with him in filming a commercial in Atacama Desert about 25 years ago, I believe, 28 years ago. And then I had the opportunity to fly with him again in Patagonia, filming Clash of Titans. So, I mean, and I read he told me, and I read his history as a helicopter pilot since his beginning. And it's amazing.
Okay, so that's the one person that inspired you.
Yeah.
Amazing. So I have very important question, and I was thinking about it before I coming here, knowing, you, and I know all the other pilots and guides, and I've been around with you guys for now a couple years. Like how, knowing everything, the flying in extreme conditions and everything you guys do, how does your family cope up with your lifestyle?
Yeah, well, it is difficult for my wife especially and kids, but she met me flying helicopters, doing firefighting, doing heli ski, so she really get used to it.
Yeah.
She always is prepared. I mean, not prepared, but she's always waiting me for calling her once I landed every day, and that's a good news for her.
Yeah.
Yeah. Normally, when she hears about accidents of helicopters, she always try to call me or call a friend to know what happens and everything. But I mean, she knows I'm happy with what I'm doing, and it's part of my life. I mean,
you think any of your kids will become a helicopter pilot?
No, my two daughters actually are becoming nurses. So
That's good.
Yes.
Nurses, we need nurses.
So, yes, she will take care of me later on.
So when you look back, what are you most proud about your career?
Well, I'm very proud of what I've achieved during my 20 years as a manager in Ecocopter. We started year 2004 with one helicopter, developing different type of operations with the company, but we managed to raise the standards of the helicopter industry in Chile with very good helicopters, good practices. We train a lot our pilots. We introduce simulators for our training. I mean, so I'm very proud about that.
And I always notice all the helicopters has more echo something like Einstein and some DNA something on the helicopter.
Yeah, well, that's part of the owners, the company owner. He is very involved with science, so he loves to, or he always wanted to, his helicopter take the science to the country.
Okay.
So all our helicopters have different designs in the painting, and actually, from the first helicopter we started, you can see now worldwide, everybody is painting the helicopter. We didn't change paint jobs. And I think we have put a style.
Yeah, it's definitely a very fancy style.
Yeah.
So cool. So if a young person comes to you and saying that they wanted to live life full of adventure and purpose like yours, what would you tell them?
I think that they have to do what they like in life, try to push to continue doing what you like, and be happy in your work. Always try to be happy what you're doing, especially if you are planning to do it always in the nature, not in the office, in the mountains, in the forests, in the beach. Doing things in different places is the best deal.
So if you could be remembered for one thing, what that would be?
I think it would be rising or doing with the company what I told you about rising the standards in the industry in Chile for helicopter.
Yeah.
For helicopters.
For making the Ecocopter.
Ecocopter, but more than, with Ecocopter, we raise the standards for all the industry. So that's good for everybody in the country. And I think we have done a good job.
That's amazing.
Yes.
Francisco, thank you for taking us inside a life lived above the clouds and sometimes into the heart of the fire. You have spent as much as time in the air as you have on the ground, making the sky your second home. Your courage, your precision, and your love for mountains and the people you have served make you a truly my everyday legend. I would say my true high altitude everyday legend. I truly feel that if you calculated the hours, you have spent enough time on the earth and on the sky. And I want to thank you for all the things you have done for community, for the country, for your clients, lending us safe, promising blue skies. And, I only wish you keep going and great future ahead for you.
Thank you, Lemisha.
Thank you for being here at Everyday Legend. I am very grateful.
And thank you, Lemisha, for coming every year
Yes.
to see the wonders we have here in Chile.
Yes, and I continue to do so.
You're always welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.